Okay, so as a founder, obviously I'm starting this journey right now. So there are different sort of like there are the SREs, cloud engineers, and all of those like titles are there. What kind of profiles I'm looking for? So I would assume there's a strategy part. We have to do some architecture, then we have to like build, deploy it, then we have to maintain it. So what kind of people should sort of like come in into different cycles?
Uh,
Yeah.
so I have no idea. I mean, there's so many different terms used for the same thing. I'm like, I'll be honest with you, like, nobody
Mhm.
really knows.
Mhm.
So people call them DevOps engineers, site reliability engineers, cloud engineers, infrastructure engineers. So there's so many different terms. I
Mhm.
could tell you the layers of the software stack where they operate generally, and that is
Sure.
probably a much better way to think about it.
Mhm.
Because even I can't, in this deluge of acronyms, I have no idea who does what. But essentially, at the core of it, you have some people who are owning the infrastructure, which runs applications. That infrastructure is your virtualization infrastructure. It could be a container-based virtualization infrastructure. It could be a cloud-based virtualization infrastructure. It could be a VM-based virtualization infrastructure. But there's some sort of an infrastructure that abstracts away the server, the hardware servers, and provides an easy orchestration layer on which developers can write their applications. So there is definitely a job family that caters for that. They are called cloud engineers if everything is on the cloud. They're called infrastructure engineers if you're doing some sort of an on-prem deployment as well. That's one piece of it. DevOps, I think, is a concept. So every developer should be a DevOps engineer. I don't think there should be a separate, like at least philosophically, I don't think there should be a separate job category even saying DevOps. DevOps is a concept. If you're writing code, you're writing an application, you need to own testing it and running it in production as well. So for me, that's a concept, but I know that that's become a job family as well. But for me, it's a concept. Then comes the concept of a site reliability engineer. So while the infrastructure engineer provides you the foundational infrastructure on which you're orchestrating your applications, and application engineers are doing the development as well as the operations, so the sort of DevOps piece of it, there is still a role for a team that can make sure that your entire infrastructure, all the applications and entire infrastructure is working as expected. And it is cutting across all the applications and all the different types of infrastructure that you might have. So you could potentially call them site reliability engineers. Some of the other teams are still calling them infrastructure engineers. So I don't think there's like a standard definition in the industry. But yeah, I've seen that anybody who has cross-cutting concerns in terms of applications and infrastructure, managing multiple infrastructure, different types of applications are generally falling in that category of making sure that everything is running as healthy as expected.